Hi. Today I am going to continue working on this little fat-bottomed raccoon who is mystified by this light source that's going to be coming out of this tree. I started this painting earlier this morning. Was practicing my video skills, and I through trial and error, I've learned a few things, and one thing I learned is that I shouldn't make a 40-minute video and try and upload it to YouTube because it takes a really long time. So I gave it some more thought, and I decided what I'll do is make these a little bit more bite-sized, and I'll be posting about 10 to 15-minute videos and just whatever I can fit into that time. So I'm going to go ahead and get started, and I'm going to just go over what I have done so far. So I decided I wanted to go ahead and just, because I can, start with the raccoon because that's the most fun. And I was, as I was working on it, on the other video, what I was explaining is that when I'm, painting pretty much everything, is I, in a way, almost like feel the paint on there. And especially when it comes to something like fur. So it can be really tricky to paint fur for a lot of people, and hair and things like that. But I think nothing beats real life experience and painting what you love, and that will come through. So this little raccoon ended up looking suspiciously like a snow globe. So, and we all know how much I love snow globe. And one of the things that I think is so funny about her is, and she lays on the floor, I call this a flat panda, but she, belly up and her little turkey legs out to the back, and, just really, really looks ridiculously comfortable and uncomfortable at the same time. It cracks me up every single time just seeing her little tootsies, with her little toe pads up to the sky. And lo and behold, here she is. She's made an appearance in this painting. I think if you, without much effort, you would be able to find her in other paintings too. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get started. I had started blocking this one in, and I just wasn't thrilled with it, and I ended up wiping it all off, except for the raccoon. But what ended up happening is this sort of muted coloring actually inspired me and gave me a little bit clearer vision of where it is that I want to take this painting. And it had a feeling of kind of like Winnie the Pooh, and but more vintage Winnie the Pooh, not primary color Winnie the Pooh, more tans, and then one thing led to another, and it was reminding me of Alice in Wonderland, and just even like Calvin and Hobbes, just these fun sort of colors of fall. I guess I'm dreaming about fall. So before I started the video, I was sort of messing around and trying to figure out like where it is I want to go with this. And at any point, I suppose it might not go where I'm hoping, but it started to feel like it wanted to be more fall-like and warm, around this little creature, but maybe more like the tail end of summer than deep fall. So just kind of putting in some indications of where I'd like the colors to go. And there's, the light source is going to be coming out of here. Not really sure how bright just yet. So I want to get the, excuse me, sort of get in around here a little bit more. And sometimes when I wipe off, an area, I end up really loving like that sort of watercolory look that comes from that. And it helps me build up and see things a little bit more clearly. So don't get discouraged if you're painting and it's not going well. That is one of the benefits of oil painting, especially, is that you've got a little, it's forgiving. And even if you don't like it the first time around, there's hope. You can just wipe it off and start all over. And sometimes if I'm, I like one part, but I'm not liking another, I'll use some Q-tips. And I just dip a little in the turpentine, and I can just wipe it off. And that actually is how I sort of got this effect, and just sort of smearing the colors that were on there around. And, it does stain the canvas. You can't get away from that. But as I continue to build up paint, that isn't even going to matter. It just doesn't matter. So, yeah, there's really no rhyme or reason. I kind of just go with what feels natural. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like these things just paint themselves, and I'm just here to enable them. I'm definitely liking this. I like it. I hope you do too. And I know there's light coming out of here, so it's going to sort of be pouring over her, and at some point the light is going to not travel that far. So I want to start building up these darks as I get further away from the light source. And I'm not too concerned about like detail at this point. This is just about getting the feeling of the painting in, what's the mood. Yeah, I'm so glad I ended up wiping everything off, because I'm really enjoying this palette a lot right now. I am mixing this color right in here is a little bit of burnt sienna and oxide of chromium. That's really pretty. I really like that. Hopefully that is showing up. Let's see. I'll see if I can zoom in a little bit. There we go. It's just a little bit of warm to that. I have a pretty delicate setup here with the camera. Otherwise, I would alternate and show you my palette at the same time. Maybe what I'll do when I get done is take a photo, and you can see what it is that I was mixing. I'll do my best to explain it anyway. And it would continue to even get darker as it gets further away, because we're sort of going down a hill. Her little body is sort of curved around this mountainside or hillside, if you will. And I can sort of see I had like an indication of some flowers back in here. I'm going to definitely flesh that out. Right now I'm adding just a little bit of ultramarine blue to the oxide of chromium and burnt sienna, and just to get that even darker. It's nice. It's really more of a brown, but it's got some really nice green tones still because of the oxide of chromium. Oxide of chromium is something that you could mix yourself, really just using CAD yellow and ultramarine blue, but you know, if you can save some steps sometimes, why not? Now I'm feeling like I kind of want to get in there and add a little bit more warmth. You know, I don't want to lose all the light in there, but I want to warm it up a little bit. So this is a little bit of yellow ochre coming in here. I'm going to sprinkle a few little bits back in here because that is, you know, kind of, this right here is a little bit of little peak of grass, and then this is a background, another distant hillside. So yeah, I'm just going to put a little bit more that in there. Not a care in the world. It's not a care in the world, this little cutie. Filled with wonder, looking in there and probably imagining that they can fit into that opening if they so desired, and who's to say, all right? I'm feeling now like I need to at least put some kind of indication that there's light coming out of there a little bit. One of the things that I mentioned in the video that may never come to be here is that I decided to get on Patreon after much urging from my friend Jim Ether, who also has a Patreon on here. You can look him up. He has great deals on tiers and amazing artwork, and his videos are just endlessly entertaining. And I might be a little biased. I've known Jim a long time, and we've been art friends forever and ever, it seems, probably a decade. And he lives all the way in Ohio, so we've never got to hang out. But every once in a while, we'll get a little chat in, and he's been very encouraging, and I really appreciate it, and I feel excited. And you know, he's shared with me just how Patreon has really helped him out and been encouraging, and he finally sold me on it. So he suggested I do some videos, and you know, gave me a few ideas, and then I started thinking like, hey, that's not a bad idea, and here we are. So I can thank Jim Ether for that, and a good way to thank him is to go and become a patron. So we're about 13 minutes here, not doing too shabby. And right now I'm really just trying to still get that in there. And what I'm feeling is I could even kind of come in there with a little bit. Don't go crazy now. I'm going to put a little bit of pink in there. Just a little bit. Just a little tiny bit of pink in there. Oh, I like that a lot. I do. Oh, look at that. Isn't that sweet? Look at that sweet little baby. Look at that sweet little baby. So funny. I really just didn't see this as the direction. You just never know where these things are going to go sometimes. Yeah, I'm digging that. I am. Looks like in my original sketch, I was trying to put a little orb of light right there, and I am gonna mark that right now. Got a little heavy-handed there with the paint. This gigantic brush. Actually, I'm not digging that. Not digging that right there. It's getting a little thick. I'm just going to mark that for my own self. I'm going to add a little bit more light here. I could definitely see that as there being some little orbs of light coming out of there. I like that idea a lot. I'm going to brighten this up just a little bit. Make sure we don't lose the cute little face. I'm also going to jump back on them. I'm going to take that out a little bit more. I'm not quite there. Anyway, I hope that you're enjoying this. I hope that it's entertaining and informative for you. And yeah, I think what my plan, my goal, as otherwise I should say, is I will be doing some other demos like this throughout each month, and depending on how things go here, I was thinking one of the tiers would be, I would offer prints of this when it's all done as a special thing only available to Patreon subscribers. And then I will offer this painting for sale first to you all here. And I may even just go ahead and put a tier in there if somebody wants to just say, hey, I believe in you and I would like to pre-purchase that painting. And how cool is that? Then you not only will you have the painting, you'll be able to see me actually painting it. How awesome is that? That's pretty cool. I think it's cool. So there's a lot of artists on this site, I guess, and I'm looking forward to exploring some more myself and seeing what's on here. I know I've got another art buddy, Ben Montero. He goes by B. Jenny Montero on here, and he does daily drawings. And you can get an original drawing a month for $100. I think is one of his top tiers, which honestly is pretty cool. I just love his artwork, and he's a sweet person. So there's really something for everyone on here. So I'll be definitely sharing other people's pages, and really just want this to be someplace where people who are curious about the art process and my paintings and how stuff like this gets done, or you want to learn some stuff for your own paintings, and I'm definitely open to suggestions. So I think there's an option on here where people can ask to see certain things. But I'll be, probably have tutorials on how to mix certain colors and, what makes a good design. They're not all winners. I'm not going to go that far, but, after a lot of years of doing this, you pick up a few things along the way. So, anyway, well, I'm going to go ahead and say that's a wrap on this particular installment, and I will be continuing where this one left off in a future video. And I appreciate you subscribing and believing in me enough to, to join this platform. I really appreciate it. So thank you so much, and stay tuned for another video where I continue working on this. All right, take care. Thank you. Bye.